So he has written 3 works. Raja Bhartrihari has authored 3 works. The names of the work are Shrungara Shatakam, Niti Shatakam, and Vairagya Shatakam. In the Shrungara Shatakam, Raja Bhartrihari beautifully describes the joy of married life. He beautifully describes the joy of married life. In the Niti Shatakam, he describes the necessity of rules and regulations in a human's life. In the Vairagya Shatakam, he describes the futility of all life. Completely sansara asara. Like Adi Shankaracharya said in the Bhajagovindam, Kate Kanta Kaste Putraha Sansaroyam Ativa Vichitraha Kasyatvam Kuta Ayataha Tanme Chintayab Tadiha Bhrataha. Sansaroyam Ativa Vichitraha. So it is so complex and so mysterious, this world. So the third one is about Vairagya. Vairagya means how to become detached from this world. Again I'll repeat, 3 works he has done. The first work is called a Shrungara Shatakam, which talks about family life and the joy about family life. The second one is about Niti Shatakam, which means the rules and regulations and the guidelines for a happy, practical, successful life. And the third one is Vairagya Shatakam, the manner or the method for detaching yourself from this life and getting what you call as liberation. In that he says, I started this topic, you know why? I said every one of us has got worries. What worry is that? He explains. He says the entire world has got some sort of a fear or some sort of a fear. Everybody is having a fear. What is that fear? He says, Bhoge roga bhayam. Bhoge roga bhayam. When you are enjoying this life in this world, you have the fear of disease. Because anything, Atihi sarvatra varjayet. In Tamil they say, in Tamil language they say, Alavai meerinal amrutamam vishamagum. Alavai meerinal amrutamam vishamagum. That means when you exceed the limits, even that most enjoyable activity will become poisonous for you. So the bhoge roga bhayam. In the enjoyment of these worlds, many things to enjoy through the eyes, through the ears, through the tongue, through the touch, and through the nose, 5 senses. You enjoy many things, but in this there is a danger of what? If you exceed any limit, you will end up in disease, roga. So bhoge roga bhayam. Then he says, quite possible that if you are born in a very good family. For example, we talk about Khandan in Hindi, we say Khandan. We say Khandan, when you're looking for a marriage alliance for somebody, अच्छी खानदान के होने चाहिए. You know what is the meaning of that खानदान? जिस घर में अच्छे खाते हैं और अच्छा दान करते हैं. जिस घर में अच्छा खाते हैं और अच्छा दान करते हैं, उसका नाम है खानदान. अच्छा खाना मतलब क्या है? Judiciously eating and then judiciously giving. Again I remember a Tamil saying, it says, Aathula potalum alandu podu. Even if you want to discard something from your house, make sure that you count and then discard. Don't discard it like that. So bhoge roga bhayam means there is a fear of disease in enjoyment. Then I said Khandan means, let us say I am born in a very good family where they don't exceed any limits. I am born in a very good family. The parents have taught me not to exceed limit in any of my enjoyment. So I don't have any fear, isn't it? Then he says there also there is fear. Because if you commit even unconsciously, subconsciously you commit one mistake, you will be penalized from that kula. That particular clan of people will say he is an outcast. If you violate the rules and regulations of one particular clan or one family, they will make you outcast. Kule chuti bhayam. Then another person thought, if I have wealth, I don't have any fear. If I have wealth, I don't have any fear at all. Because a wealthy person, he can do many things. Yasyasti vittam sanarak kulinaha. यस्यास्ति वित्तम सनरह कुलीन है. जिसके पास पैसा है वो तो ऑटोमेटिकली लोग उसको अच्छे कुल के मानने लग जाते हैं. अच्छा पैसा हो तो लोग उसे ऊपर उठा के बिठा देते हैं. So there is no fear when you have wealth. He says there is one fear called as IT fear. You're mistaken. I think it's not information technology. I didn't mean information technology. I don't want to say that word. Okay. Vitte bhoge roga bhayam kule chuti bhayam vitte nripalad bhayam. नृपाल माने गवर्नमेंट, सिटीजन्स को पालन करने वाला, उसका नाम है नृपाल. जो वित्त माने धन. इफ यू हैव मनी यू हैव द फियर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. वित्ते नृपालाद भयम. Okay, is there any something else was thought? Let us keep quiet. Don't talk to anybody. Don't want money. Nothing. I'll keep silent. Maunam. You know maunam? Heard of mauna? Mauna means keeping shut, keeping your mouth shut. So let us keep quiet. Let's not involve ourselves in anything. I'm sure there won't be any fear. If you don't talk, nobody will attend to you at all. Maune dainya bhayam. You will become very, very poor if you are always silent. If you are keeping silent, nobody will regard you. So maune dainya bhayam. Then another alternative. Let me become very powerful. Pahalwan ho jaunga. Let me become, in English they say D-O-N. Let me become a D-O-N. Then I won't have any fear of anybody. Then he says, if you become a D-O-N, in the neighborhood there will be another D-O-N. बगल में ही एक और D-O-N पैदा हो जाएगा. If you are a powerful person also, एक पहलवान के लिए दूसरा पहलवान तैयार हो जाएगा. So there also there is fear. So let me become a very handsome person. For ladies we say beautiful, for gents we say handsome. Let us become handsome and beautiful, and let us get the name of something like, Miss Universe, Mr. Universe, because of your. Is there any fear in that one? You got so much name and fame. There is a fear there also. What is the fear? Fear of old age. When Vriddhavastha comes, nobody can be any Mr. or Miss. When the old age comes, Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya says in the Bhajagovindam, Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vruddho yati grihitva dandam tadapi munchatyasha pindam. Angam galitam, the body has lost all its vigor. Mouth, you can't even count one, leave alone 32. You can't count even one there in the mouth. Then the hair have become grey. And you have to walk with a stick now. What happened to your Mr. and Miss titles? All gone. So there also fear is there. Then let us learn some scriptures like, once you learn scriptures, people will talk about you. He's a very great Vidwan, very great scholar. Learn some scriptures. He says, Shastre Vada Bhayam. The moment you learn Shastra, somebody will be there to say, what you have learnt is all wrong. What you have learnt is all wrong. You listen to me. So Shastre Vada Bhayam. Then let us earn some good habits, character. Let us build up our character. I don't think there is any fear in building up character. The moment you have a good character, there is a practice in India that we do Annadan, Annadan. Annadan means you give free food to many people, especially specifically for the poor people. So you do Annadan. And when you give Annadan, do Annadan, we invite some people to have food, the free food. And somebody sitting down there, you know what he'll say? Somebody having food or somebody outside standing, he'll say, बाप ने बहुत अच्छा कमाया था, देखो बेटा उड़ा रहा है, देखो. बाप ने बहुत अच्छा कमाया रखा था और बेटा उड़ा रहा है, सब पैसे को उड़ा रहा है. तो अच्छा गुण वाले हो जाओ तो भी उसमें दोष देखेंगे. If you have a good character also, people will find fault with that one. Ultimately, I will take all the patis. I will take refuge in all the patis. What all patis are there? Allopathy, homeopathy, nephropathy. Now all these patis, and forget pranapati. So when you take refuge in all these patis, you think you can save your body? Even then, samprapte sannihite kale, samprapte nahi rakshati dukrin karane. The moment the day of departure has arrived, No pati in this world can save us. So even in the body you have this fear. So Raja Bhartrihari says that everything in this world is plagued with fear. Everything in the world is plagued with fear. There is only one thing which doesn't give fear, doesn't have fear, that is Vairagyam. Bhoge roga bhayam kule chuti bhayam vitte nripalat bhayam maune dainya bhayam bale ripu bhayam rupe jaraya bhayam shastre vada bhayam gune khala bhayam kaye kritantat bhayam sarvam vastu bhayanvitam bhuvinrinam vairagyame vabhayam. He says only Vairagya can give you abhayam. Why did I say this? It is only to remember that why we should know about the mind. Because the mind is the house of every single worry. Every single worry is harbored in the mind. Not only that, when I got the topic for the talk of today, I had also received a caption from our Sri Dakapa. It said, Manaeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Manaeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind is the cause for both bandhana and moksha. The mind is the cause for both bondage as well as liberation. It was given there. Now you tell me, we should understand bondage and we should understand liberation before we understand the mind. What is bondage actually? According to many scriptures, bandhanam means the feeling that I am bound. The feeling that I am bound. You know the nature of a monkey. Some monkeys were playing around near a particular kumbhara. Kumbhara is the potter. The potter had made some pots and kept it there. And the monkeys were playing around there. One monkey went and then started doing some pranks with the pots. One of the pots was a narrow neck pot. It was not a broad neck. It had a narrow neck. It was like a jug. So this monkey went there and it tried to put its hand inside the pot. The moment it tried to put its hand, the pot's mouth was very small. The hand would not go. So the monkey made the hand small like this by folding all the fingers. And it puts the hand into the pot and slowly it takes it inside and then opens its hand. The moment it opens its hand, it finds something inside. So it grabs as much as possible. Once it has grabbed, what has happened to the hand? It has become bigger now. It's trying to pull out the hand. The monkey is trying to pull out the hand and the hand is not coming. And the monkey is screaming that the hand is not coming out. And ultimately it realizes, it gives up something and then the hand comes out. So just like the pot has caught hold of the monkey but actually not caught hold of the monkey, just like the pot has caught hold of the monkey, but actually not caught hold of the monkey, same way, this world appears to catch us. This world appears to catch us, but actually doesn't catch us. We are the one who catch the world. The world appears to catch us, but it is not the world which is catching. It is we who catch the world and then we blame the world. So the bandhanam means what? Getting caught. Bandhanam means getting caught, and this bandhanam is a kalpanika bandhanam. What is it? It is a kalpanika bandhanam, means it is an imaginary bondage. Many of you must be revolting in your mind now. Many of you must be saying, Swamiji, kitne asani se bol dete hain. So easily he can say, if he had my responsibility, he will know. If Swamiji had my responsibility, he will know what is bandhan. I am repeating it. Bandhanam is only what we have made. The world does not bind us. We are the ones who bind ourselves to the world. And if we have bound ourselves, who will release us? If we have got ourselves bound to the world, is there anybody else who can release us from the world other than us? So we only have to release ourselves. Nobody else can release us. So mind, the mind means mana. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoh, means mind is the cause for bondage and for the release also. Now I want to do a very small experiment. I would like you to oblige. Can you all slightly raise your hand? Keep your hand on the hand rest first. Please keep your hand on the hand rest. Keep your hands on the hand rest. And I will ask you to just raise your hand. Then when I say raise your hand, please raise it. Raise your hand just a little and then place it back. All of you, please raise your hand. Put it back. Now I would like to ask you a question. Why did you raise your hand? Very easy, no? Because you told me to raise the hand. Now I will tell you. Mataji, aap. I will tell you to raise your hand. Don't raise the hand. I will tell you to raise. I will say raise your hand. Please raise your hand. See, the hand didn't come up. I am telling her to raise the hand, but it is not coming up. Why? I said don't raise. Now I am telling you, raise the hand. Just raise the hand and keep it down. Please understand, I may tell you to raise the hand, but if you don't want to raise the hand, will it come up? I am repeating it. I may ask you to raise the hand, but if you also don't wish to raise the hand, it will not rise. Do you agree or not? Unless and until we wish something to happen, it will not happen. In the olden days, perhaps nowadays also in many other countries, there is something called as slavery. Have you heard of slavery? Many of us have heard, we have seen also some pictures might have seen. So in this slavery, you will see that the slaves are those people who are working under force. They are working not out of their own will, they are working out of force. And what is that force? The force is the owner, the one who owns the slaves. He has got a terrific weapon with him in his hand, either a whip he has got, or he is a very powerful person, or he will have a revolver or a gun in his hand, and he will make them do work at gunpoint or with a whip in his hand. I want to have a small discussion in this matter. Please think, please try to contemplate on what I am saying. Please tell me whether the slaves have freedom or not. Don't answer me. I want you to think about this. Do the slaves have freedom or not? Think it over. Now I will answer it. I say, I am talking about the first answer. The first answer is, yes, they have the freedom. They have the freedom to come away from that place. You may say, Swamiji, they have got, it's like a jail. The slaves are kept in a jail. And there are big bars, the walls are very, very high, and they cannot escape. Watchtowers are placed there. Many people are standing with guns there, and they cannot escape at all. I agree, they cannot escape. But can anybody prevent them from making an attempt to escape? Can anybody prevent them from making an attempt to escape? They cannot escape, I agree. But what is preventing them from making an attempt? What is preventing them? I will tell you what is preventing. What is preventing them from making an attempt is that they want to live in a good body. They don't want to be handicapped. They don't want to be amputated or hurt by these wicked people. So they continue to obey whatever they are saying till the day comes. Till the day comes when they can overpower them. They are waiting for the day to overpower them. Till that day they will remain slaves only. So even though they have the freedom to actually revolt against them, the revolt will be useless. It will be a failure. So they don't revolt. Now I will tell you, in our body, we have 5 senses. The 5 senses are called Shrotram, Chakshuhu, Sparshanancha, Rasanam, Ghranam Evacha. These 5 senses are called in Sanskrit Shrotram, Chakshuhu, Sparshanancha, Rasanam, Ghranam Evacha. What is translated in English, Shrotram means the faculty to hear. I am saying faculty to hear, I don't say ear. Please see the difference. Many people are there who have the ear, but they can't hear. Many people have the ear, but they can't hear. So I say faculty to hear, the ability to hear, Shrotram. Chakshuhu means the ability to see. When I say chakshu, also remember, many people have got the eye, the organ eye, but they can't see. They have the eye, but they can't see. Therefore, the faculty to see. Shrotram chakshuhu means the ability to see. Sparshanam means the ability to touch, feel. the ability to feel. Whenever you touch something, immediately you get a feeling of, it is rough. You get the idea of the texture. We say it is hot, it is cold, it is, it is rough and smooth, soft, hard. We say everything by touch only. So like this, you remember all the 5 senses. Shrotram means hearing faculty. Chakshu means seeing faculty. Sparshanam means feeling faculty. Rasanam means tasting faculty. And then Ghranam means smelling faculty. Now, if you close your eyes, what you will not be perceiving? If you close your eyes, you won't perceive any form. Rupa will not be perceived if you close your eyes. That is why during meditation we close our eyes. When we do meditation, why do we close our eyes? So that we don't see anything. So if you can close your eyes. And to close your ears, you can't just close them, you have to use your fingers. Or you have to use a plug. And to close your nose, is it possible to close the nose and live? Not possible. So you can't close your nose. And tongue you need not close, because unless you keep one sweet on the tongue, it doesn't perceive anything. Unless and until there is something placed on the tongue, it doesn't perceive any taste. What about touch? Wherever we sit down, wherever we stand, definitely some portion of our body will be touching the ground, or any other furniture or something it will be touching. So definitely we are feeling the touch. These 5 things, what is their nature? The nature of these 5 senses? These 5 senses are continuously gathering some information. These 5 senses are continuously gathering information. If you keep your eyes open, you cannot prevent a form falling into your eye. You cannot prevent. If you keep your eyes open, definitely you will see something. Anybody in this world, anywhere in this world, if you keep your eye open, you will definitely perceive something. And it is impractical. It is not at all practical to keep your ears closed. So, ears also will continuously perceive. For example, all of you have heard the sound. Because you cannot keep your ears closed, you automatically hear. Same way, if the tongue is in contact with any edible item with a taste, definitely it will perceive. Similarly, if the touch is there, touching anything, 100% you will perceive, normally, if you are healthy. Same way, if there is a agarbatti, somebody has lit anywhere, you will definitely perceive the smell. This is a normal affair. Suppose something is very, very attractive to me through the eye. I see something very beautiful. What is the immediate reaction? I have just now seen something beautiful. I look back, once again I look at it. Again, because it is beautiful. The tendency is, whenever there is something beautiful, I will look back. So, there is a difference between seeing and looking. There is a difference between seeing and looking. Seeing is, because the eyes are open, they will definitely gather something or the other. But looking is putting your mind on it and then seeing. When you add your mind, then what happens? You are going to gather more details. For example, a painting of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma giving the Upadesha of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. There is a painting, beautiful painting, and you have seen that painting, and you are walking away, then suddenly you want to see it once again. You come back and see it once again. Then you see more details. See how beautiful Krishna's face is. See how beautiful Arjuna's face is. See how nicely they have done the chariot. This is called as looking. There is a difference between seeing and looking.